Good morning, everyone. This is Charles, the instructor here at the Exodus Logistics Learning Center. And today we are in our second week of Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. We have live Zoom trainings every second and fourth week of each month. In those second and fourth weeks of each month, we have them 3 days out of those weeks, okay? So I'm gonna do a little recap, review a little bit before we get into the lessons and the studies and the Q&A, stuff like that, so you guys will know, because I'm getting a lot of similar questions. And I guess most of the individuals who are asking the questions are either not looking on the website or don't know where to find what they're asking. So as a way to review, I'll go ahead and go over a few little things, some little house cleaning things for the first few minutes, and then we'll get into the trainings, all right? Also, let me say welcome. Those of you who just recently enrolled within the past maybe week or two, let's say welcome to you guys. Glad you chosen us for your journey as a beginner dispatching company. My job as an instructor is to give you the basics and to give you a solid foundation so that you can take that knowledge and scale your company to whatever direction you want to go in. And that's what I will do. You know, I do that to the best of my ability. So when you first come into our website, okay, and let me mute everyone here so I won't have any background, any interference. Okay. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So when you first come to this is the home page. This is the main website, www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Okay. And as I go to different pages, I'll go ahead and put the links in the chat for you. Okay, so if you notice on the home page, you'll see Dispatcher 101 and Freight Broker 101 training, right? After that, at the top, you see these headers, right? ELLC merch, we're introducing a merchandise store with different things. Services, ELLC services, Dispatcher 101. This is mainly the area for the dispatcher students to be involved in on this particular area, this particular page or header, right? Then we have a freight broker side, those who want to become freight brokers. And then we have our Exodus University, which we are still building out. And Exodus University is not a university per se. What it is individuals who are students, either current or past students, who have skill sets that have gone above and beyond what we have taught, and they are giving back. So that's what that is about, okay? So, but anyway, if you hover your mouse over Dispatcher 101 or any of the headers, if you hover your mouse over any of the headers, it'll drop down with other selections. So let me get to the first common asked questions. When do we have our live Zoom trainings as members, right? Well, under Dispatcher 101, if you are a dispatcher student, and under Freight Broker 101, if you're a freight broker student, since we're dispatching training today, I'll keep it under the dispatcher header. Zoom, the first subheader under the Dispatcher 101 main header on the home page is called Zoom Training Schedule, okay? So you click that, it takes you to the Zoom training page, right? And I'm going to copy that link and put that in the chat as well. And the reason I'm putting it in the chat is so you guys can create like bookmarks on your browsers, right? On your computer browsers, okay? So the Zoom training, live Zoom training access page under Dispatcher 101 is here. Live Zoom trainings 3 days per week in those second and fourth weeks of each month. Now you can do one or two things on this page. You can click the button that says go to the Zoom calendar and it scrolls down to it, or you can just simply scroll with your mouse back and forth, right? The times and days are the same. It's just the second and fourth weeks may change per each month, right? So every Sunday or in those second and fourth weeks, it's always going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern. Wednesdays will always be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturdays will always be at 12 noon Eastern Standard Times in those second and fourth weeks of each month. Well, what are the second and fourth weeks of each month? Well, we are currently in the year 2022. Every month in the year 2022, I have circled in red the days that we have those live Zoom trainings. We're in, where are we? September. So the second week, well, we deemed the second week starting today, September 11th, which is kind of bittersweet because of the whole terrorist thing. But second week, September 11th, that Sunday, 11 a.m., which is now, right now. Wednesday will be 6 p.m. Saturday, the 17th, will be noon. And in the fourth week of September is the 25th, that Sunday, the 28th, that Wednesday. And then I'm considering whether I'm going to have one on that Saturday, but there is no Saturday in the fourth week. I may just give it, I may roll over into the 1st of October just to have that extra day. I'm making that determination, but I haven't decided yet. So if you want to know when we're having live trainings as an ongoing student, just refer to the Zoom training schedule page in that particular month, second and fourth week, and you will see circled in red the dates that we have them. And then the times are always going to be the same. Sundays at 11, Wednesdays at 6, Saturdays at noon, Eastern Standard Time. The Join Now button and the meeting ID and passcode is always the same, okay? So people ask me, are we having live Zoom trainings? I'm saying, okay, like I got asked about 17 times yesterday. Are the cold calling days recorded as well? I need to change the cold calling days because that's what Shantae. The best way to get a hold of Shantae is to join her Facebook group, Air to Learn. And then she changed her times. They're no longer on Saturdays. I gotta change this, update this for her times, which are circled in yellow. I need to change those, but LaDonna says she will post her page. So LaDonna will post that. If you guys, so Shantae is the young lady who is a current and former student who has gotten real well at doing cold calling and getting carriers to want you to be their dispatchers. So a lot of you guys have migrated over to her cold calling sessions that she has now. And I've been getting some rave reviews about that. I haven't had a chance to talk to her in a while, but people saying that she is still going on. It's still pretty good. So if you are someone who is entertaining that particular method of getting a truck driver for you to be their dispatcher, which is cold calling, there are other ways, social media, emails, texts, visiting the truck stops. But if cold calling is something that you're good at or that you are entertaining, consider Shantae as a source to for you. Okay, put my lighting on a little bit here. All right, so that's the Zoom training, live Zoom trainings. Now, outside of the live Zoom training, guys, you guys have access to, if you are ongoing members, you have access to the portal at your own pace, self-paced, studying the modules, the load boards, everything that's included in it. We're gonna touch on that in a second. Okay. So under Dispatcher 101, these next three, the ones that says purchase, purchase, and purchase, that deals with individuals who are not members, but who want to become members either or purchase something, right? Purchase the training materials only, purchase the one-day seminar, or purchase the ongoing training. So that's neither here nor there. If you are someone who doesn't need dispatch training, but you just need the materials, templates and stuff to help get your company going, you can just purchase the training materials only. There is no training involved. You just get the materials, the templates, and you just go from there. Okay, that's the first one. Okay, the second option is the one-day, 2-hour seminar. What that is just a high-level overview of what dispatching is so that someone can make a decision whether or not they want to do this long term. Okay, that's just a 1 day, 2 hour seminar. You get access to materials. You get training materials in the 1 day seminar. You also get live trainings and you get a copy of that recording so that you can have it as a playback for yourself. Okay. And in both the first two cases, the training materials and the seminar training, if you decide after purchasing those that you want to purchase the ongoing training, what you pay for one or the other, we will deduct from the cost of the price of the ongoing training. We will subtract that from them. You know, our job is not to, you know, take the bank from it, right? We want to give you honest, sincere training to help you start your company and start making income. That's the job. I'm not in it for like trying to take people's money like in a kind of crazy way. So now purchase the ongoing training. Here's where some confusion is coming in with some individuals that I've been hearing about, and my wife is starting to do admin work, and we're starting to circle back, and people are starting to be denied access because they've been missing monthly payments. Where they're saying, well, I signed up for the program, I should have it for a year. And you should if you, so here's how it works. When you enroll into the ongoing training, at whatever price point, whether you enroll at the single member $4.99, the 5 month at $120 monthly payment plan, or the 2-for-1 $7.99. The first 30 days, you get access to everything that's included in that, right? You get access to the load boards. You get to set up your email and password to get access to the portal. You get access to the modules, the trainings every second and fourth week, the tools and resources, the forms and documents, all the templates, things of that nature. Now, 30 days from your initial enrollment date. Let's say someone enrolled today in the ongoing training. Today, right? Today is the 11th of September. The 11th of October is 30 days from their enrollment date. So, but they've gotten everything, right? Access to all the tools, resources, the modules and everything. Now, and load boards. If a person who enrolled today wants to continue on a month-to-month basis after that first 30 days, then there is a monthly subscription of $29.99 per month. And then you can do that for as long as you want. I used to say you can do it for up to a year, but as long as you're paying the month-to-month subscription, you can have access to everything that you've gotten access in the first 30 days. Does everybody follow that? Does anyone not understand that I can re-explain it?
So we just make a payment every time our monthly payment is due, right?
Right. So and it's based off of the date that you enrolled initially. So say, for example, that's a great question, Hakeem. You enrolled today, right? Today, from today till November, September, October 11th, that 30 days, you get everything. You get that first 30 days for free, all the resources, all the modules, everything that's included to have access to the portal, live trainings, everything. Because I set you up with an email and password, you get access to the load boards. And these are live load boards, guys. You can book loads from these load boards. Now, some of these load boards are kind of acting funny right now. I got to deal with the people over there, the admin or the developers of the load boards, because we're having login issues. But that's not your issue. That's mine. But you get access to up to 6 load boards, and you get a 7th load board if you take advantage of our partnership with that load board, which is called 123 load board, where you can enroll in that load board for 30 days. And then after the 30 days, you get the option of purchasing a subscription to that load board. There's 3 subscription price points. 35 a month, 45 a month, or 55 a month, which is the premium. I recommend the 55 a month, right? And you can subscribe to this load board without having to have an MC or DOT number. That's the beauty of it. Most load boards, you are required to have an MC and DOT number. If you go through our affiliate and use our promo code, you get 30 days with them, the first 30 days for free. If you don't go through our promo code, you only get 10 days for free, and you have to have an MC to sign up. But if you go through our affiliate partnership with them, you get 30 days for free. And then you decide if you want to continue, and you choose one of the subscriptions, $35, $45, or $55 a month, without being required to have an MCO DOT. So that's the beauty of it. So now you don't have to worry about anyone else's being logging into. You have your own private load board, paying your own subscription for it, booking loads for your carrier or carriers. Okay. But to circle back to your question, Hakeem, or your comment, I should say, yes, the first 30 days from your initial enrollment date, you get all of this, everything. If you want to continue and keep all of this and everything on a month-to-month, cancel anytime, no obligation basis, then it's $29.99 a month. Okay. And most people stay in it. I got people been there for 2 years at this point because they're taking advantage of not only the resources which we update a lot, but also the ability to access load boards and the ability to have continued training on the current trends of the market and things like that. So that in of itself is in my opinion, is valuable. And if at any point you want to stop doing that, let's say you were in it for 3 months. Your first month you got, because you initially enrolled, and in 2 more months you paid $29.99 and $29.99. You say, okay, I think I got it. I think I got enough training. I want to stop, want to cancel access and cancel subscription. You just let us know via phone, text, email, whichever way you want to communicate with us. And we go ahead and do that. Now, when you say you want to cancel a subscription, this is what that means. That means we're going to cancel sending automatic invoices to you monthly, and we're going to cancel you having the ability to access the portal, which includes load boards. So most people I'm getting phone calls and emails from, they are misunderstanding that. When you cancel subscription, you cancel access to everything, and load boards is encompassed in that. So I need you guys to understand that, right? So, which is fine, because at some point, my job is to springboard you into being your own business, your own entrepreneur, to have your own load boards. I'm giving you load boards just to getting you acclimated on using load boards, what they're about, the user experience, how to navigate them, things like that. At some point, you want to graduate to your own load boards anyway. You don't want to depend too long on mine, right? You want to graduate to your own. You want to be your own boss. I'm just here as a catalyst to kind of assist you getting there, right? And that's the whole purpose of it. Now, if you decide to continue to stay in, that's fine. Hey, I have no problem with that, but I want you to, the ultimate goal is entrepreneurial independence, right? I'm just here to assist you in that, okay? So that's how that works. Did that help you, Hakeem?
Yes, sir, it did. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's under Dispatcher 101. Now, however you come in as an ongoing member, when you enroll, the first thing you're going to get after your purchase, you're going to get an email, or it should be in your the receipt in your email, with a receipt with a download button to download, and it has instructions on how to set up your email and password to log into the portal. That's step one. Then step two, once you get approved, then you go and you log in to the members portal, right? And I got to remember my own password to my own members portal. Oh, I know it. I think I know it. But once you get into the members portal, then you are able to come in here, and this is the members portal main menu. This is the meat of your studies, right? You have when you first enroll, you go to orientation. Orientation is just a simple watching of a video. Hey, welcome. Thanks for choosing us as your premier training platform. We hope to, satisfy all your desires and wishes in this training, yada, 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 right? And then also, this is also where you download those 3 free ebooks, the free glossary. I would recommend downloading them, or at least downloading them to your local computer so you can have them at your disposal to kind of reinforce the learning curve, right? And then that's the orientation. Then we have a business setup page where you, and it's just information only right there. So when you, as a new dispatching company, you come up with a business name for your, if you're creating a business from the very ground floor, right? Business name, right? Make sure it's not registered anywhere so you won't be double working, because if you choose a name and it's already taken, you got to go back and start that process over, right? So let's assume that it's not. Choose a name, it's not taken. You register it, you apply, you get an LLC, your legal structure, LLC, sole proprietor, whichever one you choose, right? Most people choose a limited liability company, LLC, right? Just starting up, simple to do, right? And we have information in here on this page about that. And every page you click on, there is a YouTube video explaining the page, giving you more detailed information about the page. But the data is here, okay? And we have third-party resources. If you don't want to do it yourself, we have third-party resources you can consider to do it for you, setting your business up for you and things of that nature, right? So you get your business name, your business structure, whether it's a sole proprietor, S Corp, LLC, whatever, and then you get an EIN through the irs.gov, which is you attach the EIN number, your social for your business, to your business, right? That's the order. Your name, your structure of the company, whatever it's going to be, the business type, structure, LLC in this case, and then your EIN to make it official, okay? And that's it for now. You are official, right? So after that, these other buttons on here, I do one-on-one consultations. We have a referral program. If you know someone who joins with the referral program, if you know someone who wants to join, my only requirement is to whether they join on the dispatcher side or the freight broker side. And in whichever price point they join at, have you fill out the referral form prior to them joining, because I need a record of you saying that this is the person I chose. I need it to be documented in order for me to pay you for referring that person. So if a person joins and then you tell me a few days later, hey, I chose that person and I don't have anything on record, I can't honor that. I need for you to have the form submitted prior to them joining. That's just business, right? That just makes sense, okay? And then we have a private Dispatcher 101 members only Facebook group where we also network there. And then we have, everyone should be familiar with the YouTube channel. Anyone can join and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Facebook group is for ongoing members only. You cannot join the Facebook group unless you are an ongoing member. That's the benefit of that. You have to be a member of the ongoing training to join the Facebook group, and we check, okay? The consultations are separate price points. So they're outside of the scope of the training. So you pay separately because it's extra time that I have to allot and set aside for myself in order to be able to provide a service to you, So now the middle column here under the members portal main menu is the modules. Let's go to one-on-one because someone's asking about consultation. So I offer 30 and 60-minute phone consultations where I talk to you on the phone, or I can offer 30 or 60-minute Zoom consultations where we set up a private Zoom meeting and I share my screen and we go over things in video format and we can talk and dialogue back and forth where you can probably see. And if it gets even more so where we can't do that, I will set up a remote login where I log into your system. I use TeamViewer, which is a remote tool, like Log Me In, PC Anywhere. I use TeamViewer. I like their features. So I have you download and install TeamViewer on your computer. You give me the passcode. I log in and it's as if I'm in front of your computer with you. Okay. So the dispatcher and freight broker consultations, but the dispatcher consultations, the price points are here: 30-minute and 60-minute phones. Price points are there, and then 30-minute and 60-minute Zoom consultations are there, and you just schedule. So those are the price points. I'm gonna put that, let me copy that link and put it there as well. Okay. So now we're in the members portal, right? We're in the same location. You're welcome. Self-paced module. This is the study at your own pace modules. And we may as well get into this now, right? Since we're talking about navigating the site. And this particular video, I'm going to make public on the YouTube channel. So those who are not members can kind of see, because it's answering some of the basic questions that a lot of people have been asking about the Zoom trainings and joining and the subscriptions and all this other stuff, right? So, but the self-paced modules right here, modules 1, 2, 3, and 4, you go at your own pace, right? Module 1, you cannot dispatch. You cannot be a dispatcher, an independent freight dispatcher, until you have a truck driver, an owner operator, or a carrier company with multiple trucks, multiple assets that agrees for you to dispatch for them, right? You have to have someone to dispatch for in order to dispatch. Makes sense, right? So module 1 goes over steps and strategies and concepts on that, how to get carriers. Well, in the beginning, the first thing we cover, we give a little history about the transportation industry, the different types of modes of transportation: air freight, rail, sea, and trucking, right? There's a fifth mode too, the pipelines with the oils and stuff, right? One of the first things we do in the module 1 getting carriers page is advise you when you go after truck drivers to dispatch for, the types of trucks that they drive, which are the truck drivers, the owner operators, the carriers, would it be easiest for you as a new dispatching company to dispatch for? That's how I should have said it. So in other words, what equipment type, what types of equipment do they drive? What is an equipment type? An equipment type is the truck. And this is hopefully you guys can see the screen.
Yes.
The truck and the type of trailer, right? That's probably the simplest way that I can explain it, right? And this is a trailer, and this is the truck. This truck is called a truck, semi, tractor, or in some cases a power unit, right? And the type of trailer that's connected, or for you carriers, truck drivers, coupled to the fifth wheel of the truck, right, or the tractor. So this type of trailer is called a dry van trailer, and it is 53 feet in length, not inches, feet. Okay, 1 hash is feet, 2 hashes is inches, you know. So 53 feet in inches, in length, okay? That is the first of the 3 major equipment types that we advise you new dispatching companies to target truck drivers who drive these types of equipment types, okay? The weight in the trailer, the gross weight of the truck and the trailer is 80,000 pounds, okay? The weight in the trailer, the maximum weight for the dry van is between 42 to 45,000 pounds, okay? That's just a little FYI information. You're going to know that, you're going to need to know that down the line when you get carriers and you send them a carrier profile and they return it to you saying, hey, I only want loads or freight in my trailer that's going to go up to no more than 40,000 pounds or no more than 38,000 pounds or no more than 30,000 pounds. So now you got to say, okay, now I get why Charles is saying, well, these are the weight maximums for this particular equipment type, and the driver wants this amount, so that falls within that maximum. It's actually a little bit below, which is helpful because it helps saves the driver on fuel costs. The less weight that they haul in those trailers, the less they have to burn that diesel fuel and the less overhead as far as an expense for fuel that they have to pay for diesel, right? So, but knowing the specs, the specifications of a particular equipment type can be helpful for dispatching companies, right? And it makes you look intelligent to the driver, that you know what you're doing. So they're more willing to work with you because you understand you're speaking their language, right? You're speaking truck or carrierese or truckies or owner operator, right? So the first of the three major equipment types is the 53-foot drive-in, okay? The second of the three major equipment types that we recommend new dispatching companies to target, starting out with your company, because it's an easy entry point into this industry, especially if you're new and you've never involved yourself in transportation whatsoever. This is going to be extremely helpful for you to start off with, okay? And I'm going to tell you why later after I go over the third one, okay? But the second major equipment type is the 53-foot reefer or refrigerated trailer, or what's called a temperature control unit, TCU, temperature control. This unit on the front of this trailer, if you notice, it looks similar to the drive-in, right? Except it has a little unit on the front of it. This drive-in does not. This is called a temperature control unit. This is LaDonna's area of expertise. She drives a reefer, her and her husband, right? So she knows exactly what this is, temperature control unit. What it does is, and it has a lot of components. It has a motor, it has components that help regulate the temperature of whatever is being transported in the trailer, right? According to the agreement that you, the dispatcher or your carrier, and that freight broker where you book that load for your carrier have come up with. For example, if you're hauling something in here like chickens, frozen chickens, right? And when you book that load with that freight broker for your carrier as a dispatcher, the broker said, I want the temperature of this load to be -5 or -10 degrees. Just throw a number out there, right? So that before that reefer trailer gets to that shipping facility to pick this load up, the temperature inside the trailer, once they open those doors, it has to be at that regulated temperature, right? Before they load the chickens, the frozen chickens into the trailer. So that's a load that is a commodity, freight, goods, whatever you call it, that's being placed into the trailer. That's what the broker and yourself have decided you agreed upon when you book that load. So the reefer is just short for refrigerated trailer. That's we just call it reefer. Not the reefer you smoke, but the reefer refrigerated trailer, okay? Or temperature control. That's the technical name for this. This is a temperature control equipment type. We just call it a reefer, refrigerated unit. It is also 53 feet in length, okay? And the weight maximum is up to about 44,000 pounds, okay? Because now the reason why it's a little bit less than the drive-in is you have to compensate for the weight of the TCU, the temperature control unit. Remember, this is a heavy device. It has components, it has a motor. It has to have all these components on here in order to generate cool air or temperature to keep the freight, because this is 53 feet in length. You have up to 44,000 pounds. It takes a lot of energy to keep that freight cool continuously. Continuous means as the load is being picked up and transported from shipper to receiver, it has to be at that regulated temperature that was agreed upon between you, the dispatching company, and that freight broker when you book that load, okay? So, and that's why the maximum is a little bit less than the drive-in, okay? So that's the second of the three major equipment types. The third of the three major equipment types, and remember, we're in module 1, right? Getting the carriers. But before you get a carrier, you want to understand what equipment types you want to go after, what equipment type carriers you want to go after, and why. And then next, we're going to go after how we go after those carriers. And then once we get the carriers, what do we send them in order to agree for us to have a contract between each other? So it's a progression. It's a step-by-step process, okay? So the third of the three major equipment types is the 48 or 53-foot flatbed. And this is an image of one, okay? This is a flatbed. Looks like a skateboard, okay? 48 or 53 feet in length, okay? The weight maximums on the trailer is between 46 to 48,000 pounds, okay? That's the flatbed. Now, the question becomes, okay, Charles, I get these are the three major equipment types that you advise for us as new dispatching companies to target for our company starting off coming into this space. Why? Right? Well, as opposed to the other specialty equipment types, if you go out on the interstate, any major interstate, you're going to see one of these three the most of all the ones running out here. And we're going to cover the other specialty equipment types in a second. These are out here on the roads the most, the interstates. You can find freight and book loads for these types of equipment types the easiest, and they pay the better rates. So I can go on with other reasons, but those three right there should suffice, right? That should be enough, right? If I'm coming into this industry and I'm giving three equipment types to go after that I can find them on the roads, they're running out here all the time. I can find loads for them on the load boards more so than the other specialty equipment types, and they pay the better rates. I call that a no-brainer, right? So what are the other, you mentioned specialty equipment types, Charles. What are the other ones? Well, you guys have heard of box trucks. Has anyone not heard of a box truck? Okay, crickets, good. Everybody's heard of a box truck. So 16, 20, 24, and 26-foot box trucks. CDL, non-CDL box trucks. Non-CDL weight up to about 10,000 pounds, right? Hydraulic lift gates, DEF, different types of box trucks. The most popular type of box trucks are the Toyota Hinos 268As, right? They're most fuel efficient, they run the best. They have a Cummins engine, an Allison transmission. So it helps with mileage, pretty good, right? Another specialty equipment type, power units, power only. This is a power unit, the tractor, just the truck itself only, not the trailer. That's why it's called a power only. If you notice, there is no trailer connected here. That's why it's a power only. That's where the name comes from. If you are a carrier, you're driving this without a trailer, what are you doing? Pop quiz for some of you who are current students.
You're picking up empty trailers.
Okay, you are technically, but there's a
Bob
word.
telling.
Who said that?
Quality.
Quality, very good. So there's a word, it's called bobtailing, yeah, and Latia Bankhead also said it. So whenever you're driving a power unit, a power only unit without a trailer, let's say you're going to pick up a trailer to do a drop and hook, but you haven't gotten to the shipping facility to grab the trailer, to snatch the trailer, you have to bobtail to that location to grab it. That's what they call it, okay? Just so the reason why I'm throwing these terms out here, because at some point in your journey of dispatching, you're gonna hear these terms and you're gonna wonder what they mean. So why not every now and then when we're explaining certain things, just throw them out there so you can kind of understand it, right? Another specialty equipment type is called a hot shot, okay? A dually pickup truck, they call them dualies because of the duals on the back. And then it has an up to a 35 to 40 foot trailer attached to the dually, right? Some of these trailers have what's called dovetail ramps, others do not. How many axles on this trailer? Pop quiz.
Three.
3. Does anyone understand, or does anyone not understand the 3 axles? Why is it 3 axles?
I don't understand.
Okay, how many wheels do you see?
6.
Right, but on one side of the trailer, how many wheels do you see?
Oh, 3.
3. There you go. So an axle is one side, one wheel side to the other side. That's the axle. Okay, so you see 3 axles, right? 1, 2, 3. You see 6 wheels, right? 6 tires. There's one on either side, right? But axles is from one side to the other, and then all in between. Okay, that's the axle. right? And then finally, the sprinter van and cargo vans. These are also specialty equipment types. This is a specialty equipment type: sprinter van, cargo van, transit vans. They may call them, because they do like expedited type of things, right? So the weight for the hot shots can be anywhere between 15 to about 30,000 pounds on a trailer, depending on the number of axles, right? Because sometimes the axles can kind of distribute the weight when you can put more on it. With the trailers, like the dry van, you can slide your tandems and kind of shift the weight, and depends on how you loaded that trailer. If you put most of the freight in the middle and then spread it out towards the end. For you carrier, you get what I'm saying. I don't want to confuse. And then with the box trucks, a non-CDL, I'm going to keep it there. The gross vehicle weight rating, the GVWR of the box truck is 26, either 25,999 or 26,001, 26,000 pounds, basically. In the box of the non-CDLs, up to 10,000 pounds, okay? So here is something for you to think about. And again, we're on module 1, right? Which situation would you rather be in? And I'm gonna give you 2 scenarios. The first scenario is with the 3 major equipment types. Would you rather be in the situation with the 3 major equipment types where you have more of a challenge on the front end getting the carriers who drive one of the 3 major equipment types? But once you get them under a dispatcher agreement, finding loads for them is going to be easier. Okay, that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, would you rather be in a situation where you get a carrier of one of the specialty equipment types very easily, but once you get them, it's going to be a challenge finding loads for them? Which situation would you rather be in? And you have to ask yourself that question. Alexis said number 1, right? The first situation where you have more on a challenge on the front end getting the carriers who drive the major equipment types, but once you do, loads for them is a little bit easier than they are for the specialty equipment types. Okay, so that's something to think about as a dispatching company, so that you can determine which direction, which fork in the road are you going to take as a dispatching company, as a dispatcher, independent dispatcher. You're going to take the fork in the road going after the 3 major equipment types, or you're going to take the fork in the road going after the specialties, right? Also, too, let's say you're doing the method of cold calling, and you may call someone who drives a specialty equipment type, but they're so excited, you're excited to get them because this is your first carrier. You say, okay, I'm going to overlook what Charles said. And because this is my first carrier, they gave me an opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and deal with them. And let's say they're a box truck, and they send you everything back, dispatch agreement, you guys got into it. And now you got to find some loads for them. Now you have to perform. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a challenge finding loads for them and on the load boards and things like that, because that's just the way of the market, right? Depending on where that box truck is located, in some instances, you may be able to hook up with direct customers. And we'll get into the deep part of that later on. I just want to stay basic right now. I don't want to discourage anyone from targeting specialty equipment types. I want to encourage you to target the 3 major equipment types, because I want to make your transition into this industry easier for you, and I don't want you pulling your hair out with the specialty equipment types, because you will. I want to be honest with you, you will. So if you got someone giving you the game up front, saying, hey, it's probably better for you to take this road than to take that road. You know, taking this road may be a little lonely and it's dark down this road, but at the end of the road, you're gonna get to what you want. Taking this road, it's exciting. You see lights, it's like clubs and stuff. You can get drinks and everything. You're excited. You want to take that road. You know, you want to get all the glory and the glamour up front. But then when you get to the end, you got to pay the piper. So someone's giving you a direction, which fork to take, you know, and that's where, and this is from experience also, you know, I'm not just saying this is from experience, right? So the three major equipment types is the way to go. Now you will have a challenge because some carriers who drive the three major equipment types, they have years of experience, they do not need a dispatcher, or they think they don't need a dispatcher. So a strategy with that is to target carriers, if you're going to cold call them, target carriers who drive those three major equipment types, but who may be new as being carriers for driving those equipment types. They just got their operating authority. They just became owner operator, just got their authorities active a year or less, right? So now the likelihood of you getting them under a dispatch agreement and helping them find loads increases because they're just as new in the industry as you are as a dispatcher. You see, so there's techniques and ways to get around those different loopholes, you know, or different, I should say, obstacles in the industry. It can be done, trust me. Okay. So I'm going to pause right here and ask, are there any questions thus far, what we went over? Does anyone need something re-explained, a little bit more clarity, or?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you find the new carriers? Because if you go on the DAP directory, it just gives you a whole bunch of carriers and doesn't tell you who's new and who's old.
Great question. And we're getting to that point too, right? As we progress through module 1, but yes. So methods of finding carriers. So one method of finding new carriers is the governing body of the transportation industry is an organization called the FMCSA. Does anyone, I know a lot of you guys are new, but does anyone know what the FMCSA, what does that acronym stand for? FMCSA.
Fitness and safety something.
Not quite, but Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Look, David, I beat you, David. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. So LaDonna is great at what she does. She's putting the information up there for you. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. So in our portal, in the back office, the members portal, and I'm going to open up a second tab with our website so I can go back and forth between it and go back to the portal, the main menu, and under tools and resources, because I want to stay under module 1 as we go through the different methods, but I want to go to the other side too. So the right here, SAFER is company snapshot, FMCSA. But if you didn't know anything about the SAFER website, which is the Safety and Fitness Electronic Record, it just keeps a company snapshot of everyone who has an authority, an operating authority, either as a broker or as a motor carrier, right? But if you didn't know anything about that, you can refer to your free friend. His name is Google, right? So you can say Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. It's going to take you to their website, right? fmcsa.dot.gov. Okay, I'm going to click that. I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat so you guys can have it. And all these links I'm giving you guys, I would strongly advise creating bookmarks for them so you can always reference the sites without having to know where it's at and stuff like that, right? So right here, so the FMCSA, the transportation industry in and of itself is real big on safety. They have to be. We're driving 80,000-pound people killers, literally, right? You get in front of a truck doing 70 miles an hour on an interstate and you are not driving fast enough, or you make a sudden stop, you can cancel Christmas, right? Because that truck with weight on it is going to take at least a quarter to a half a mile to come to a complete stop, moving at that velocity, right? You guys follow what I'm saying, right? You got weight on a truck, an 80,000-pound truck, right? Maxed out, and it's moving 70 miles an hour. For it to come to a complete stop, that momentum has to go at least a quarter to a half a mile to stop. And if you're in front of that and you just stopped your car, you weren't paying attention, you're getting ran over, right? So you might want to have your insurance policy updated or something, right? So the FMCSA is big on safety, whether it's driver safety or vehicle safety. right? They're real big on this. So in order for people to get their operating authorities as a motor carrier, there are things they have to go through, there are steps they have to satisfy the FMCSA with, right? So we're going to go into safety, okay? And under safety, right here where it says the company snapshot of profile, it's going to take you to the exact site that I was just at through our portal. I'm just showing you an alternate way to get to it, okay? The FMCSA. Now, the gentleman asks, how do you find new carriers? He mentioned the DAT directory, okay? The FMCSA, anyone who applies for an operating authority as a carrier, as a motor carrier, they are listed because it's public record, right? And they are listed in the register or the registry of the FMCSA. And I'm going to show you how to get to that through this site. But individuals who apply to become active as a motor carrier are listed there, right? And that is a way to target new carriers because they haven't gotten their authority yet, but they are in the process of getting their authority. So you can leverage that and market to them and say, hey, I see you've applied back in August 28th for your operating authority. Once you get your authority, are you looking for someone to help you find loads? You're looking for a dispatcher as well. And more than likely they may, because they're new. They're just as new as you starting your company. So they may be more motivated to see what kind of services you offer, right? And you're selling yourself now. So now how do we get to the area, the register where the carriers are, right? To answer the gentleman who asked this question, I want to make sure I address you by name.
It's me, Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr, okay. So the FMCSA, the company snapshot, you can look up someone either by their DOT, their MC number, or the name of the company, either a broker or a motor carrier. DOT is the Department, the US, the United States Department of Transportation number, or the motor carrier, the MC or MX number. So MX is an authority for someone who is based in Mexico. That's what X is from, MX. MC is US based authority, okay? So, and I was looking at the chats because someone asked, right. So the DOT number, if you just have a DOT number, someone asked a question here, I'm gonna answer at the same time. If you just have a DOT number and not an MC number, chances are you're running intrastate, only within your state that you live, your domicile residence. If you have both an MC and DOT, you more than likely you have an interstate type of authority where you can cross state lines and go to any state that you deem fit for you, right? So, so you can look up someone with an MC DOT. I'm going to put a number in here right now. And now I just threw a number that I always have. You can reference this number as just having something to practice with, just to find. So to work as a dispatcher, we need an MC? No. So dispatchers, independent businesses who operate as independent freight dispatchers do not need an MC number, a motor carrier number, to operate your company. You do not. Now, when you're dispatching for your carriers and you get them under a dispatcher agreement, you need to have the carrier's MC number when you're talking to the freight brokers. Because when you call a broker to book a load for your carrier, all brokers are going to ask for an MC or DOT number because they need to look this MC or DOT number up to see first if they are already set up with their brokerage to run loads or not. Or also if there's any safety issues. Because if there's safety, whether there's driver safety or vehicle safety issues, or if it shows that the MC or DOT is not active, then the broker's not going to work with that MC or DOT number. And that's another reason why you guys as independent freight dispatchers, you want to vet your carriers out before you even decide to dispatch for them, because you don't want to waste your time as well as the freight broker's time. Why would you get a carrier who number one, if he's inactive, like if you look up a carrier and under it says operating status and it says not authorized in big red bold letters, I wouldn't continue there. I would move on to the next one. Because when you call a broker, they're going to see the same thing. They're going to say, well, why are you wasting my time with a carrier who's not even authorized to transport freight, to transport goods? Because they're looking up their information in their system and they're cross-referencing it with the FMCSA. So when you vet carriers out to work with them as dispatchers, you're not only doing yourself a favor, you're doing the brokers a favor indirectly. Okay. So when you first enter the number, the DOT, MC, or name, you come up to this page here, right? What is this page? This is just a quick snapshot of that particular company. Entity type, it should say just carrier, right? If it says carrier/broker or carrier/IEP, especially carrier/broker, I wouldn't work with that one because that carrier could be either an asset based under that brokerage. So you're getting into the realm of what's called double brokering. You don't want to have a carrier that you have under a dispatcher agreement who's part of a brokerage and you're calling a broker to book a load. That's double brokering. That's a form of double brokering. Okay. All right. Operating status. It should say authorized for property. Okay. And then the name of the company is some basic stuff, their MC number, DOT number, the number of assets they have or power units, things of that nature. Now, Abu Bakr asks about finding the new carriers, right? Or those, not necessarily the new carriers, but those who've applied for the operating authority to become a new carrier. Okay, so where it says here, other information for this carrier, you guys see that what I'm highlighting right here? Other information for this carrier?
Yeah, I
Yes,
see it.
I
Okay.
see it.
Select the one that says licensing and insurance, okay? Once you select that, it's going to take you to this page right here. You really don't have to do anything right here unless you want to go into more detail about the carrier. But what I want you to notice at the top right where it says choose menu option, this drop down arrow, you're going to drop down the arrow and select FMCSA register, okay? And then you're going to hit go. It's going to take you to the FMCSA register selection. Right here is where the FMCSA prints out in 2-week increments reports of any changes in the industry, whether someone changed their name, whether they applied for an operating authority, whether they had an authority suspended, revoked, whether they changed addresses, anything that affected a number in the industry, they come out with a report in 2-week increments. So if you notice from the 26th of August to the 1st of September, and then from the 2nd, I'm sorry, to the 2nd of September, and then from the 6th to the 9th, those are 2-week increments. What I often advise new dispatching entrepreneurs to do is select the oldest one, right? Click the report link, and now it takes you to this page here. 86 pages. Let me expand this a little bit, okay? This is the FMCSA register, which is a database of all the information I just mentioned. Name changes, if you notice right here, name changes, license, authorities revoked, address change, people apply for new operating authorities, things of that nature. I'm going to take you to the area where you need to focus on, right? So I'm going to go, I'm going to put some pages in here, let's say 45, okay? And I'm going to tell you why I went to this area, right? Let me scroll up to the top and see the header of this area first, right? Remember I said FMCSA is real big on fitness, right? So fitness and safety, I should say. Real big on safety, that's the word I meant to say, okay? And so we have 2 sections in the register that we have really one that we need to focus on when you're going after carriers to call to try to get under a dispatch agreement using the register, okay? Fitness and non-fitness.
Hey, Charles, slow down.
Yes,
Hey, someone's asking, how did you get to that page again?
okay. Let me go back. Let's start from the top. And let's do it from the portal, okay? And thank you, LaDonna. All right, so let's say you logged into the members portal. You're an ongoing member, logged into the members portal. You say, I want to go after, want to cold call some potential new carriers today using the FMCSA register from the SAFER website, right? Tools and resources. And right here, you go to SAFER, just to choose the SAFER website. And look, I even have videos here, SAFER navigation video, FMCSA register video. So if you click that, it'll take you to a YouTube video showing you exactly what we're about to do now. But I'm going to do it now live so you can see it. But there is a video literally showing you what we're getting ready to do. Okay. So click the SAFER, and then I'm just going to put in a random number. Come up to this page, right? So far, so good.
Yes.
Next, where it says other information for this carrier, you want to select licensing and insurance. Okay. On this page, where it says choose menu option, the drop down arrow, you select FMCSA, register, and hit go. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm going to go slower, so I know people are kind of like probably taking notes and writing it down too. But on this page, select the oldest dated one, which is the 20, in this example, the 26th of August, right? Click the link, report, PDF report, and now it takes you to the actual FMCSA Department of Transportation register. Okay, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit, right? And I'm sorry, I'm going to enlarge it. I used a bad choice of words. Today is September 11th. I'm talking about blowing up stuff. That's crazy. Oops. FBI gonna be kicking my door in a few minutes. So, but anyway. So now we're here. Now we're back at that point. So before I move on, Tawana, you had a question about this area here?
I do. I just want to, I have a question about why you suggest we choose the oldest one first.
Because the newer ones, they just recently applied for their authority. And when you apply for your operating authority, it takes some time for it to become active. The older ones, that's the case also, but the likelihood of them, their authority becoming active increases because their application is older. So time has passed longer. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. So now we're here. And you guys, so the type of owner operators, truck drivers, carriers that you guys are going to eventually target to try to dispatch for, when an owner operator applies for their operating authority, right? There are 4 types of operating authorities for the owner operators. There is a common authority, common carrier authority, contract, passenger, and household goods, okay? The one that I recommend strongly that you guys go after are the common carriers. Now, once you got that in mind, now you have to also decide, okay, common carrier, but do I go after those who are intrastate or interstate? So what's the difference? What's the difference between an intrastate, I-N-T-R-A, and an interstate, I-N-T-E-R type of motor carrier? What's the difference between the two? Can someone elaborate on that?
One driver
Local
drives.
and interstate drivers.
Okay, so I got a mix. Okay, so let me ask the question. So, okay, so Latia just put it in here. Okay, intra is within the state, inter.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So intra, whatever is that motor carrier's domicile state that they reside in, if they have an intrastate type of authority, they are only able to book loads within that within the parameters, right? If they have interstate, they can go anywhere, cross state lines. Okay. Q, Ala, T, got your hand raised.
Oh, so the carriers that drive to maybe Mexico or Canada, what are they called?
They are called, where are they based?
I mean, in America, we're
And
talking about
they are,
inter and intra.
they are common carriers. So they're just crossing international, right? So
Okay.
if you have a Canadian authority, then it's different up there. But if you have a Mexican authority, it's MX. You have a CA authority, it's Canadian. But if you have a US authority, but you're going to you're crossing international
Right.
borders. So you're going into Canada or into Mexico. You just have to have credentials to do so, passports and things like that. So, but you're still a common carrier because you got your authority, let's say in Texas or in Michigan, because like in Michigan, you can cross the Ambassador Bridge or take the tunnel, you're in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, right?
Okay. So they run international, not interstates.
No, they are interstate carriers. They may be running in a load that's going to cross over into an international country, into Canada,
sir.
Mexico, but they're still technically a interstate type of carrier. They just got a load. They just happen to get a load that goes into Canada or into Mexico from a broker, and the broker gives them the requirements that they need to cross over.
All right. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So now, remember the 4 types of authorities for the carriers: common carriers, contract, passenger, and household goods. Household goods are the ones that deal moving companies, right? They move goods in the household like Covan, Atlas, Mayflower, these moving companies. Passengers are like limousine services, bus services, things like that, transporting passengers. You ever heard the Chinese bus take you to New York, right? So, and then contract carriers, you may be contracted with one company for like a specific term, like a year. Common carriers are the ones that can move freight for anyone, going anywhere if they're interstate, right? Those are the ones in this register that you target, okay? Let me take you to the area in the register that you target them under, okay? So let's go to that area in here. So in this area, you're gonna have a fitness and a non-fitness category or section in the register. The non-fitness describes the types of carriers that's in the non-fitness category. The fitness describes the type of carriers that's in the fitness category. We want to be in the fitness category. Remember, SAFER, SAFER, the SAFER website, safety and fitness electronic record, fitness, driver fitness, vehicle fitness, driver safety, vehicle safety. The words are used interchangeably. I just want to make sure that you guys are grabbing this, right? So let me scroll up here. You can see it. Okay, here it is right here. Okay. So above fitness is non-fitness, but I'm going directly to the location where you need to be, right? Fitness, because that's going to describe the type of carriers that you're going to target. Motor carriers, motor common and contract carriers of property except household goods. That's it right there. Those are the types of carriers, specifically common carriers. So now when you scroll down here, and let me define and break down what each column means, right? These headers, the number, filed, applicant, and representative, okay? And we're going to start with the FF because it's in alphabetical order. FF stands for freight forwarder. People apply to be freight forwarders too, but we're dealing with MCs. I'm just showing you what these headers mean. The number, their FF or MC number when they filed. Filed means the date that they applied and filed for their authority, not the date that their authority became active. So when people are looking in this register, they are confusing this date as being the date that their authority became active. That is not true. That is not true. It is the date that they filed. When they go to the FMCSA website and register and apply for an authority as a motor carrier, they are filling out a form called the OP-1. Once they complete that form, they pay that $300 fee for completing that form. FMCSA logs their public information into this register on that date that they completed it. That's what this means right there. That's the date. Okay. And then it says the applicant can be a person or a company. In this case, in this example, is 3C Logistics, and then a representative of the applicant or the company, which is, in this case, this person's name here. So that's how you read that going across. Okay, the number, the date that they filed, the applicant, which is a company, and then the representative of them. Okay. So, and so let's scroll down. Now we're in FF, freight forward. We want to go down to, oh yeah, here's another thing too you want to remember. This is how you read it also. The information is up top, and then the type of authority is down below it. So their freight forwarder, their date that they filed, the applicant name and the representative, and the type. Okay, so when you scroll down to the M section, you'll be able to see that. Okay. So right here, here's our first M1, MC right here. There's their MC number, the date that they filed, right? Let me enlarge that a little bit more. Date that they filed, the applicant, which is a motor group, and the name of the person of that applicant, right? And then the type of authority. They are an interstate common carrier except household goods. So that's the category that you're looking for, right? That's the category. All right, I see. Okay, so people say, got it. So as a dispatcher, we do not want to deal with no, you're not, you're not dispatching for freight. So you're not dealing with freight forwarders. What a freight forwarder is someone who takes shipments from different customers, consolidates them into their warehouse and ships those shipments to one location internationally. That's what a freight forwarder does. They consolidate shipments. That's another level. I don't want to say you're not ready for it, but you're not ready for it right now, right? You're doing basic dispatching right now. A freight forwarder is like even over a broker. You're dealing with freight forwarders, you're dealing with international freight, customs brokering, all types of things of that nature. Okay, so that's, yeah. Get freight forwarder out of your mind for now, right? Now you may, if you want to scale your company and say, okay, I've been dispatching for a year or two, I'm rolling with that. Let me transition into a freight broker. And then say, okay, now I want to be a broker. Well, let me transition into a customs broker or a freight forwarder, someone who works with an importer to get exported freight internationally shipped into the US. So now there's customs entries, you got to clear customs and all these other things that's involved in that. How is the freight coming internationally? Is it coming via air? Is it coming vessel? Is it coming rail? So that's where freight forwarders come in at. Okay, and they consolidate shipments from different customers coming from foreign countries to one centralized location. Okay, so that's a big thing right now, right? So, Tawana.
Is there an advantage as far as going with targeting interstate carriers over intrastate, like one way or the other?
Yes, and with the exception of Texas, because Texas is a big state, an intrastate carrier who's operating in Texas can make a lot of money, but interstate carriers, because they go all over the country, they can make more money because they're going all over the country. But if you're just, let's say you're an intrastate carrier, but you're only in Connecticut, you're not gonna make a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? But if you're interstate and you're able to cross state lines with your IFTA, apportion plates, IRP, all the requirements of crossing state lines and things like that, then you can make some money. That's the advantage of being an interstate as opposed to an intrastate.
All right, that makes sense. I'm in Texas, so I've talked to people who say they just do Texas.
Right, because they make money just in Texas, depending on the equipment type. They could be a hot shot out of Houston. They can run the rails, intermodal out of Houston, the ports over there, Bayport and all those other ports out of Houston. Or they can run flatbeds over in Pecos, Midland, Odessa. You see what I'm saying? So going down to Laredo, coming over to, what I'm saying? So that's how it depends on.
So I'm in Houston, and when it comes to the hot shots that you're talking about, is it as easy to find loads for the hot shots?
In Houston, I would say yes. because Houston is prevalent for hotshot types of loads. You can put you can put 20-foot ISO boxes or 20-foot containers, I should say, on, because they're different size containers. You can put 20-foot, 40-foot, and 45-foot containers, particularly 20-foot containers. You can run military freight. You can take it like Houston. And how far are you from Brownsville?
I'm not sure where Brownsville is.
I think it is south of Houston, I believe.
South Texas.
Yeah, South Texas or Brownsville. So
Okay.
you run down there. You can, take small LTL partials. Houston is big for partials and containers, small containers like 20-foot containers and hot shot type of movement, right? So you're in a good area.
So if I was looking for a hot shot load on a load board, what would I look under?
You would look under, so hot shots fall mainly under the flatbed category.
Okay, thanks.
And you, depending on the length of your trailer, your hot shot carrier's trailer, and the weight. So when you go to a load board, let's do that right now for a second. Well, let me do that later. Let me finish this real quick and we'll go.
Okay.
So we're looking for new carriers or carriers who are new in the sense that they just applied to have an active operating authority. So we're in the FMCSA register. We are going to target in the fitness category. And we're looking for the type that's called interstate common carrier except household goods. So if you keep that in mind, when you're going to the register, if you are using the FMCSA's register specifically, that's what you should focus on. And then you would go and still vet them out, look them up, see what their information is. Well, right here, you can't look them up in the on SAFER because they just applied for an operating authority, so they're not active yet. But what you can do is contact them and start a conversation in a sense like, hey, let's say this one here, this motor group, say, hey, I see you guys, Rajesh, you've applied, you're in the process of applying for an operating authority. Once that becomes active, are you looking for a dispatcher? Maybe. Well, what's your equipment type? So you got to get some information out of them. You got to see what their equipment type is in order for you to determine if you want to work with them. Remember, 3 major ones as opposed to the specialties. You don't want to put yourself in a difficult situation as opposed to an easy situation, right? If they don't have one of the 3 major equipment types, when you're having that conversation with them initially from the onset, this will be an opportunity for you to exit that conversation, because at that point you can determine whether or not you want to work with them based off of whether or not you're prepared to try to dispatch for a specialty type of equipment type as opposed to a 3 major. Okay. So you guys are good with the register, how to get to it, what types of carriers, what section to look in, the type of category of carriers to look for in that section. Everybody's good with that?
Good.
Okay. All right, so.
You can run over again, please.
Run over it again, please. Okay, no problem. So let's X out of this and let's go up to let's go back to our main menu, right? If you're an ongoing member, come into the portal, the main menu portal, right? Of course, you got the main self-paced modules that you study at your own pace outside of the Zoom trainings and getting to me here live to get questions answered, right? You go to under tools, docs, resources, tools and resources, because the SAFER website, the company snapshot of the FMCSA is under the tools and resources, right? You click SAFER and you can navigate this too. Look at all the tools and resources we have. And there's a lot of information for you that can kind of assist you there. But let's go back to the SAFER website, okay? So now we're here, right? And if you don't have access to that yet, you can go to the fmcsa.dot.gov website and just go to the safety category and select company snapshot, and it's going to take you exactly to this page. Okay, exactly. Don't believe me? Let's do it. Right? Google, you can just go to Google FMCSA. And first one, fmcsa.dot.gov, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. It even has company snapshot right there. So you can either click that, or if let's say you overlooked and didn't see it, click the FMCSA, right? Under safety, click safety. Now you're on the safety page. Scroll down, company snapshot or profile, which is the safer system right there. And bam, you're at the exact page that I showed you that was in the back office under tools and resources, okay? So now that we're here, we want to enter just a number just to give us practice to get to the register, okay? So we come in here. Remember, someone drive for me. I don't know where I'm going. How do I get to the register from here?
Licensing,
Okay, where is that located?
at the top on the right, in a blue box, licensing and insurance.
Okay, what's
And
next?
And then you will go up top to the right where it says choose menu option.
Okay. And what do you select?
You select the
register.
FMCSA register.
And then do what?
Hit go.
Go.
Okay, what's next?
Go to the bottom.
Okay, select the report, the bottom
Click it.
report, the oldest dated report. That's we'll keep it like that. The oldest dated. So now
Oldest
we're here.
dated.
Right?
Yes.
I'm gonna blow this up. What section on here do I need to go to?
Business.
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 Let's find it.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is it possible for us to see like the older reports? Because it only shows about 5 or 6 on that page you were just on. Can we see like reports from last month?
No, you can't unless you call FMCSA. FMCSA by law only prints them out in 2-week increments for whatever
Okay.
reason. Now, if you want an older report, you would have to call them, but they require that you be the owner of that MC number or DOT number. You can't do it as a dispatcher. They won't, because that's a lawsuit. You can't, they can give you data from someone else.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna do it.
I have a question. The number that you put in, you said it was just for purposes of getting to this report.
Right, you got another number. You can use anyone's number because that's public information.
Okay, so it's just a random,
It's just, it's someone's number, but it's just random.
gotcha.
Yeah, so if you know someone with an MC number, because we're just using their number to get to this location. Right? We can put another number, because I got numbers in here all day, right? I can put another number, I can find another number in here. I got different numbers that I've used. Some of them are my people, some of them aren't, right? So. Okay, so someone drive for me again. Where I'm lost. How do I get to the register?
Other-
Licensing
other
and insurance.
information, yeah.
Other information, license and insurance. Okay. What do I do here?
Go to the drop-down menu at the top
Okay. Very good. What do I choose?
and click FMCSA register.
Okay. And let's just choose. You could choose the most recent one, but again, they just recently applied for the authority, so the chances of them becoming active sooner is less than it is for someone who did it 2 weeks ago.
Right.
You see, that's why we're choosing the oldest report.
And
Does
is
that-
that because
Does that make sense?
it's,
I want to make sure that makes sense to everybody. Does that make sense?
yes,
Okay. All right.
Very well.
All right. And then, so let's blow this up a little bit. I keep using that word. Let's expand it. Jesus Christ. All right, let's blow it. Let's expand it up. Let's enlarge it. There we go. That's the word.
Magnify it.
Yeah, let's enlarge the screen for you guys, right? Okay. So, and before we move on, I see 2 hands up, Alexis and then Mindsight. Go ahead, Alexis.
so is it the reason that you're saying that is because of the 21 days that it takes for the person to go through that official registration for that
Correct.
number? Okay.
Correct. So the let me see something real quick. Someone's trying to log in as well too. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure this person gets in too. Yeah, because when you apply for an operating authority, there is a process you have to go through. You have to apply for the authority. someone challenges that, like the 10-day process, and then you also, in the meantime, you have to apply for your insurance, your BLC3, and other requirements for the authority to become active. Insurance being like the BMC 91 and the BMC 34. The BMC 91 is liability, which covers, yeah, right, David, UCR also. The BMC 91 covers liability, which is BIPD, bodily injury, property damage, and the BMC 34 covers cargo. And then you have to do UCR, Unified Carrier Registration. So all that is in a certain number of days to process. The first 10 of which someone can challenge the fact that you are applying, right? But the 21 days you have up to get everything situated and in place as a motor carrier for the FMCSA to grant you the authority to transport freight. And don't mind me a second, I'm just getting someone the code so they can get in, because they are texting me. And I don't like doing this because it interrupts your time, but they are members, so I want to make sure that they try to get in. So please excuse me for giving that to them, okay? So now we are, what section are we going to, right, when we're looking at fitness or non-fitness?
Fitness.
So let's choose the fitness. I'm just going to put some pages in here, hit enter, going down to the fitness. And then what type of motor carrier category are we looking to try to call or try to get to dispatch for?
The MC.
General.
May carry except household goods.
Interstate common carrier, except household goods. Like, for example, this one here.
Oh, domestic general.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. Quality. Okay. Okay. So interstate as opposed to intrastate, common carrier, except household goods. Pop quiz. What are the 4 types of motor carriers? What are the 4 categories?
Wait,
Common, contract,
one is household goods.
Okay.
passenger,
Household, okay. Household, passenger,
Contract.
contract. And I got it highlighted on the screen.
common carrier,
Common carrier.
There you go. Which ones do we only want to target?
Common carrier.
Common carrier.
Common carrier.
Because that's the only ones we can. We can't deal with other ones as dispatchers. We don't deal with household goods. We don't deal with passengers. We can't deal with contracts because they already got contracts with the shippers. So we only can deal with common ones who can get loads from anybody, any broker. So you see how this is coming together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now so I did all of that to go into, let's go back to module 1. But I want to keep you guys on that because we were in module 1 talking about the modes, the methods, right? And the methods of getting carriers as dispatchers. Well, what I consider, and I could be wrong, and I've been wrong before, the number 1 method is visiting the truck stops, right? Because you are face-to-face with the person. Eye contact, your tone, your pitch, your body language, your aura, your presence, your disposition, how you speak to the person, and if you decide to use this method of going after the carriers, the truck stops, I would say have copies of your dispatcher packet with you. Of course, have business cards and flyers, but if you get someone convinced and say, hey, I want you to be my dispatcher, I want to give you a shot, then okay, well, here you go, here's a dispatcher packet. And the dispatcher packet contains 3 documents. What are the 3 documents that's contained in the dispatcher packet?
Carrier profile.
Dispatch agreement. Limited
opportunity.
There we go. So, and for those of you who are new, we're going to scroll down on the screen. We're going to go over that in detail, but they are the dispatcher agreement, which is the contract between you and the carrier. the carrier profile, which is the carrier's requirements of you as a dispatcher of what they want, the type of freight, how much cents per mile, where they want to go, things like that. And then the limited power of attorney, which is a document that needs to be notarized because it is the carriers giving you permission to represent them when you are onboarding them and booking loads for them with the brokers. So those are the 3 documents that encompasses the dispatcher package, okay? So, okay, so truck stops, right? Here's some advice on the truck stops. Women do not go alone. Women do not go at night, period. Those are the, right? So if you have a significant other, boyfriend, husband, partner, whatever the case may be, you never go to a truck stop alone, ever, 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 okay? And it's unfortunate that we have to advise that, but we have some weirdos out here, right? So we want to make sure that your safety is more important. This is, your life is more important than dispatching freight for an owner operator, okay? So let's get real serious there, right? So, but if you decide to use this method, go during the daytime, like mid-morning to mid-afternoon. That's a safe time, like 10 a.m. to about 3, right? There's a lot of traffic, depending on where you are. Let's see, Miss Bankhead, where you from? What major city are you near?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, you from Jackson, the capital. My dad was born in Jackson. 3724 Bailey Avenue. 3724.
Okay.
All right, don't play with me now. Don't start no mess. Okay, so Jackson, Mississippi. I ain't heard that in a long time. So let's go to Google. Let's go to our friend Google. Truck stops, right? Near Jackson. Okay, that's
and I'm actually in Pearl, but there are several truck stops around us because we're near the interstate here.
Right. So Interstate 55, Interstate 20, Interstate 220. So we got them up here right now. So I'm going to go to more places and look at all these truck stops. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit. Look at that. And that's in the Jackson metropolitan, and Jackson's the capital. So yes. Major truck stops. So we got some fuel time, super stops. Some of the major truck stops are like the Loves, the Pilots, the Petros, the TAs, the Flying J's. Those are the major ones, right? You got some few mom and pop ones too. But she got about at least 10 here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. I see one a little bit behind it. So you can scroll down here and, just focus where you are here, and go to those truck stops. Now, if those truck stops have those bulletin boards with the cork things in the center where you put tax, you can put tax. If you have that and you want to leave your business cards and flyers there, just make sure that you get permission from the management. That's my only suggestion there, right? So, can owner operator dispatch himself, right? They can, Markin, they can dispatch themselves. The things with owner, so the purpose of you coming in as a dispatcher for an owner operator who says, well, I can dispatch for myself. Okay, you can. What about the time element, right? Where they say, well, what do you mean? Well, while you're under a load, driving, trying to safely transport a brokered freight or some brokered freight from a shipper to a receiver, who's booking your next load? Or where's your next load going from? Or who's handling the back end stuff, right? Stuff, things like that. So when an owner operator comes with you at that angle, flip it a little bit, leverage that and put in the time element and say, or put in the element of what's your bottom line? What do you mean? What are you grossing per week? Or what are you bringing home? Bringing home or netting, that's kind of personal. So you'll say, well, what are you grossing per week? Right? And they got a dry van and they're in the Southeast. I'm bringing in 8,000 a week. That's pretty good. Okay, what if I can get you 10 to 12,000 a week? Would you give me an opportunity? And I'll give you your first load for free, just to prove my worth. That's just an option. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just saying that's just an option. Okay. So, quick quality.
Yes, sir. I made a cold call last week And this lady asked me, what's the market rate for reefer? Oh my God, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say.
She said, what's the market rate for a reefer?
Yes, sir.
Where the first thing you should have did was, okay, let's review that with him. What should he have done, right? Where are you located, sir? You said a lady, right? So where are you located, man? What region of the country do you mainly run?
Texas.
She runs in Texas, so she has a reefer in Texas. So she's
Right.
asking you what the market rate is for reefers in Texas.
Yes, sir.
So what resources you could at least start it with, just to get an idea? What's a good resource?
The DAT load board.
DAT load board. What about trend lines? Just a starting point. We got trend lines here. Google. Someone said Google. Google's good, but trend lines is good. So we have a resource in here in our portal. It's called Trend Lines. It's an analytical tool on DAT that gives market analysis on rates across the 3 major equipment types. You said reefer, right?
Yes, sir.
And so here's a reefer and the national rates, right? And you said she's in Texas.
So, yeah.
Texas is in what zone or what area of the country is Texas in? Southwest, right? So we have the Northeast zone for a reefer, $2.70 on average per mile that the carrier should be getting according to DAT's market analysis. That's what we're looking at, the trend lines. This is DAT. This is a load board called DAT. It stands for Dial a Truck. This is the top load board out here. You got DAT, you got Truck Stop, and you got 1, 2, 3. Those are the top 3. DAT has a tool in it called Trend Lines. It gives market analysis, current market analysis, or 7-day or 15-day market analysis on rates and other things. Trend Lines is one of those types of analytical tools, okay? Southeast is $2.61 a mile for the reefer. Your driver was in Texas, so $2.80 a mile on average. So give or take 20 cents either way. So plus 20, minus 20. So you could have told her a range. You could have said, I can get you between $2.60 and $3 a mile. So if you take 20 cents from that and add 26 to that, that's your range. So between $2.60 and $3 a mile.
Okay.
That's what you could have told her. Or more. And that's contingent upon, with reefers, particularly the number of stops. Because with reefers, you stand a chance of having multiple pickups and multiple deliveries. So now you can increase even more money, because every extra pickup and extra stop is extra money to the carrier based off of your skills of negotiating that with the broker. Now, if you don't know how that's done, we'll go over that. I'm just saying, just keep in mind with reefers or refrigerated trailers, the likelihood of having multiple pickups and multiple deliveries is high. Because with reefer units, you're picking up and delivering mainly to cold storage facilities and maybe large distribution centers or food chains and things like that, like Kroger's, Walmart's, and things like that. So, but what did you learn? What did you learn from that experience?
Oh man. And it's like they have 15 trucks.
What?
Yeah, 15 reefers in Texas. So I told her I'll be moving to Texas next year, because that's my plan. And she said I should fully establish myself, and maybe when I'm really grown in the business, she gave me an email address.
That's interesting because she has 15 reefers. I'm surprised that she's entertaining. I mean, it's a blessing for you that she's entertaining having a dispatcher, but I'm surprised that she's not just taking her reefer trucks directly to a customer and just running.
Right. Right. I was going to call you because she gave me an email. She said I should send a email. So I wanted to call you to let me know what I should send to her, but I said, you know what, let me not disturb you, you know?
No, disturb me. Yeah, call, text. I would say text, email, and then call in that order. Text, email, call, because I could be, on another call or whatever, right? So
Right, because I told her to just give me 2 out of the 15, you know, so I could convince her that I can really do this.
Right.
So she asked me a few questions, especially the market rates. Oh my God, goofed.
Right. So yeah, we'll be able to help you. You're in the family, right? So we will help you.
Right.
You can give some of those reefer trucks to other dispatchers who need carriers. You can kind of leverage that as well. You know, you have other dispatchers if you so choose to do it. First, get her under a dispatcher agreement first, and then try to leverage that to help you and to help another student who needs help with finding a carrier or needs help going through the experience of booking loads and stuff like that. So we can all help each other.
She has not replied my email though. So do you want me to give you the email?
Just email me the details and we'll have this conversation next week.
All right.
Just remind me.
Sir. Thank you.
All right. David Lake. Are we able to kick others off any particular? Yeah, so the only load board that does that in the back office, David, that we have here is the DAT load board that I have, the particular version of DAT that I have, which is the DAT Power Select Carrier version. That's the only one. The other ones are like direct freight services. Everyone can log in. Trucking Planet is fine. Truckers Path, I'm having a conversation with them because their development team is doing some tweaks with their load board and it's giving me an issue with logging in from different locations, different IP addresses. So yeah, okay. So let me log into a load board just to give you guys an idea of what that is too. But does everybody understand the trend lines concept? Where, like with Quality's question, if someone asks you about certain things like market rates or what can I get on average for my equipment type, then you can look that information up to kind of see, I guess, a baseline starting point. Now you may get more. This is just an average, okay? Someone has a question, iPhone, they have their hand raised. I don't know who that person is, but go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask, do you need an MC, DOT, or either both to have access to load boards besides monthly subscriptions outside of your platform?
Yes, with the exception of, so if you go, most load boards require an MC DOT, but let me give you a workaround for that. So let's go to module. In our back office, module 2 is where our load boards are located, right? So if you are an ongoing member, or if you use this promo right here for 123 load board, right? Use this 30-day affiliate because we are partnered with them, right? And I'll put this in the chat here real quick for you guys. If you click that, you get your first 30 days for free. Also, after 30 days, you can decide to get the $35, $45, or $55 a month subscription, which doesn't require you to have an MC number to sign up with them. If you come through our promo, using our promo code 48,000, using the affiliate link and the promo code, they will give you your first 30 days of access to 123 load board. What is 123 load board? Right here, let me go open it up. And while I'm here, I can look up, the person had a question about hot shots. LaDonna, I believe you have someone up here.
Yes, Mr. Wanda Harrison, correct?
Yeah, okay. So here's 123 load board. Here's the user interface for 123 load board, right? So let me show you a few things on here. So here's the dashboard. Let's go down to the loads section, right? Loads. Okay, open that back up. Let's check. Before I find loads, I'm going to show you something. Load availability. Click load availability, right? under load availability, it will show you in alphabetical order, right? All the states with the most inbound and outbound movement of freight. So what is that? Why is that important to a dispatcher, right? Well, you can send your carriers into, depending on their equipment type, you can send your carriers into and out of states that have, because you only need one load, right? But if you got, let's say, AL, what is AL? AL is Alabama, right? Outbound, which means freight that's leaving Alabama, there's 831 loads coming out of Alabama. There's 392 loads going into Alabama. So that's decent. And then there's 110 of loads moving around within the state of Alabama. Okay, Alabama is a southeastern state. So 123 load board is not one of the load boards that's part of the signing up of ongoing training here, Jennifer. That is the load board that we offer as a promo with our partnership with 123 load board. It's not one of the load boards that I'm sharing my logins with you under. Okay. All right. So let's go to a Midwest state, because those seem to be high in. Well, let's stay in the Southeast. Georgia, like Atlanta, all these different places. Georgia, outbound, there's 1,200, almost 1,300 loads leaving Georgia across the three major equipment types and other specialties, but particularly the three major equipment types. There is almost 1,150, almost 1,200 loads coming into Georgia, right? So as a dispatcher, you can kind of like plan and strategize how you send your carriers to different locations. So now we're dealing with load planning, mapping, route planning. You may have heard this term before. So you want to set up relationships. When you find the particular states that you want to send your carriers into and out of, set up relationships with brokers in those states and keep your carriers moving in those states, right? So now it's getting more simplified, but that's going to happen over time. Right now, you're going to find loads just on the load boards, like spot market loads. You go in there, you do a search for a particular load, and then you book that load with the broker, and then you see if that broker has any loads coming out of the area that they're going to deliver in, so on and so forth. And you build that relationship between the broker and yourself and then the carrier and yourself, because you're keeping them happy with these good paying loads. Then over time, as you're doing that, of course, you're still planning, route planning and strategizing where to send them into and out of to keep them running, right? So now it'll start coming together, right? So let's go to find loads. So Tawana asked about a hot shot, right? So the hot shot falls in the flatbed category. Where is your guy located? Where are you trying to find something out of?
I was really hoping to just to hot shot around in Texas.
Okay, so we could say, well, let's take this out, X. And let's say Houston. I can spell it. Houston, Texas. And I'm just going to put, and we'll just put the state of Texas.
Okay.
So Houston and then just in the state of Texas. Or we just say Texas to Texas, right? Because if you want to just stay in Texas, you can say Texas to Texas, right?
Okay.
Okay, the trailer type, flatbed. Let's see what other options we got here. We got flatbed. Let's scroll down. And we got straight box truck. Removable gooseneck, that kind of qualifies as a hot shot, but it's more of heavy haul. So I don't want to select that one. But let's keep it flatbed right now. And then we'll hit apply. Now let's go to the more filters, okay? And change the length. So the length is 40 feet. Hot shots go up to 40 feet in length. And the weight, I don't know what your guy can haul on his trailer, his or her trailer, but we could put, let's just start small. Let's say 20,000 pounds. It could be more, it could be less.
Okay.
And see what we got here. We got a few results here, okay? And this one here, I don't know why that was there. I'm gonna remove that one. But Texas to Texas, we got these loads here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And so we got Alex, Texas to Laredo, Austin to El Paso, Carrizo Springs to Clute, China to Paradise, Flower Mound to Stafford, San Antonio. So depending on where your guy is based,
Midland.
depending on your guy, he's in Midland.
I have a person in Midland who's looking to do some stuff. Who's looking a hot shot in Midland.
Sometimes Midland is considered a dead zone for flat beds, like Midland and Pecos over there on the western part of the state. So let me show you guys. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. And let me get you guys, because I want to see if you guys can know where it's at. Where are the maps located? I can't find the maps. Someone show me where the maps are in this back office. Where am I looking for a map? I have no idea. I'm a new student. I want to find out where the maps are located, right?
Tools and resources.
Tools and resources. Okay, so let's go to key market areas. There's some maps down here, some maps down here. So Midland's right there, right? So, but I want to go down to probably this one right here. I'm gonna open this one up. It's a PDF. I want to expand it a little bit and a bit more, just to see if I can get Texas. It's a little blurry, more blurrier than the other one, right? But that's okay. So Midland is right there. Midland, Pecos, Odessa. That's kind of a dead zone for flatbeds. He or she may have to deadhead to maybe, well, I don't want to say Laredo, that's too far. But Abilene, Lubbock, maybe. Or he may find some lumber loads out of that area, right? So, which is kind of rare over there, but let's scroll back up to this one here and get a little bit more clearer image for you. That's better. So Midland, right there. So these are the major cities in Texas, right? Everybody, Houston, Beaumont, Longview, Dallas, DFW, Houston area, San Antonio, Laredo. You know, so Midland is in the western part of the state. He has a hot shot. I don't know how much weight he's hauling on that 40-foot trailer. That can be determined. He can grab some partials, right? Is it a he or a she? He or she, right?
It's a she.
Okay.
It's a lady.
Okay, so she can grab some partials and she just wants to run Texas, right?
Well, she works the oil fields out there in the Midland area. And so she's looking to do this on her off days.
Okay, so then she wants something to come out of Midland, going other points, Texas, and then work her way back to the area to
right.
Fields, you know, in her non-off days. I get it. Okay. Okay, yeah. So you would have to see. So we have to use Midland as a starting point then on the low boards instead of Texas. To Texas. So then you would put in. Let's hit this one. Clear it. Let's clear that one. Remove new search and put in. I'm gonna say it's not gonna come up. Let me just put Midland and then just put Texas as a state.
Okay.
And pick up day 80 flatbed 19,000. I doubt if it's gonna show up. That's what I figured. Because where it's located, Midland. If I increase the radius of where, because I put 150, right? But if I increase this to 200 maybe,
okay.
and see what you get, but I don't think it's still showing anything. And if I change it to flatbed, let's change it to do 80 and 80. Of course, it's going to be increasing. Now it's no longer hot shot. So stuff is going to pop up because now it's going to be more regular because it's bigger flatbeds now. So I'm thinking she's gonna have to. That one's a challenge there. Want to be honest with you, that one.
Yeah.
But if she can get over more towards the Houston area, because she's working the oil fields over in the Midland side, on the western side of the state.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see her deadheading from Midland to Houston.
No.
That's suicide right there, right? That's a,
Yeah.
that's a 6, 7 hour, 8 hour trek. So, yeah.
It's okay. I'll keep my eyes open for her, and I'll just continue to work my area over here in Houston.
Right. Okay, no problem. For those, the rate is not mentioned. Does that mean the load is no more of it? No. So if you're on a load board and there's no rate, that means that the broker is either trying to trick you, right? Literally, because they want to see what your negotiating skills are. They want to see what you're looking to get. When you call that particular broker on a load that's not posted, that doesn't have a posted rate, they want to see what you want for it. So what do you want for this load going from Midland to Houston? And you gotta understand the market. You gotta understand what is normally paying you. Yeah, right, Alexis. They're trying to lowball you, right? So let me show you a little bit more advanced one to give you an idea of what I mean by that. Okay. We got about 4 minutes. I'm gonna give you we do 11 to 1. If you guys have time, I can give you an extra 30 minutes. Is that cool? Yes, no, maybe? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So on the load boards, let's go to that real quick. So corporate version, that. Yeah, KK said, or El Paso, that's correct. So we're here on DAT. Let's go to search loads. This is another load board. We looked at 1, 2, 3, DAT. I have a partnership going in place with Truck Stop on the broker side, where we're going to be presenting for the first 90 days, 50% off the monthly subscription as going through Exodus, right? So let's try that hot shot load that Tawana, we were just trying to do with Tawana. So let's go flatbed, and let's select also flatbed hot shot, right? Because that's what it is. And let's see what else we got. Flatbed with tarps. Okay, that's a flatbed category. Flatbed air ride, because the suspensions on the trailers are air ride suspensions and not metal spring suspensions, right? So, and what else under the flatbeds? I think that's it. Does she drive by herself, Tawana, or is it a team thing?
She's alone.
Okay, so we'll leave those categories there. So we'll say, let's see what Midland, Texas, throughout the state of Texas has for, and I can just keep that date there, 150 miles, full, partial, or both. So you could do a full truck, you could do a full load, a partial load, or both. We'll say both because we want to increase our likelihood of finding loads if we do one or the other.
Okay.
The feet, we're going to say 40 feet, the trailer length, and the weight. Do you know the weight on her?
I don't remember her weight.
Okay, so with a 40-foot trailer, it's kind of fair to say, we'll just start with 20,000. Okay. And we're gonna hit search and see what we got. We got absolutely one.
Yeah.
So it's a flatbed hot shot. There it is right there. It picks up on tomorrow, Monday, the 12th. It's been on this load board for 2 hours and 30 minutes. See what it says, the age of it. It's been up here posted for 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's FH, which is flatbed hot shot. It's a full truckload. It's from Midland. It's Eunice. She has to go down to New Mexico, Eunice, which is 81 miles deadhead. and then take it 581 miles to Pinehurst, Texas, right? It's 11 feet, it's 8,500 pounds, but it's only paying $800. That's terrible. And their credit score is 54. That's also terrible, which is the broker's credit score, upstream
Right.
logistics. Their days to pay is 26 days after. So what days to pay means after you deliver the load, how long does the broker have to pay you? If you're not using a factoring company, or if you're not using quick pay, right? So 26 days, but that credit score is terrible. Whether she has a factoring company or not, if she has a factoring company's not going to work with them, because they're not going to buy that invoice to pay the carrier up front and then go after the broker for the money, because the broker's credit score dictates that they don't pay people. 54 is terrible, right?
Right.
Let's open that up and see what this is. It's paying no double brokers. Okay, and they have the nerve to tell us not to double broker with a 54 credit score, telling us don't double broker. Really? They're checking 411. They're paying between $1.31 and $1.63 a mile on average, and that's not an average $1.62. That's just more towards the high end. I like the fuel surcharge this week though, 77 cents, but that's, look at that. So they're posting it for 800. The normal spot rate pays almost $950. So they are $150 below what that should be paying, right? You could probably get it up to 1,000, closer to $2 a mile. So
you were talking about the age of the posting. So what's considered something that has been on the load board for a long time?
More than 8 hours. More than 8 hours means more than a work day. It's 8 hours. But some brokers do it. It'll be right before it reaches that 8 hour, they'll go into that load board and they'll refresh it, and it'll start from zero again. You see?
Okay.
So if you look at that, but this is not 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That's not bad. In other words, they just put up here, what's that, 11 or 10:30? So it's been up here since 10:30 Eastern time. It's 1:02 right now. So, but yeah, the longer the load's been posted, the more stale it becomes, the more likely that you can negotiate more money from them, because it's reaching a point where they need to get that load off the load board, because their shipper is calling them and saying, why is my load hasn't been. My fault. That was on my end. Internet issues.
Okay, we see you, Charles.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, the longer the age, the more negotiating power you have to negotiate with the broker, because the more likely they have to get rid of that load because to satisfy their customer, their shipper, right? So that's important. So you can leverage that as a dispatcher in your favor. Okay. All right. So let me do some Q&A now before we get off here now. Let's do some Q&A. Oh, never mind. You know what? I apologize. The reason I'm giving you that extra time is I want to finish going over the different methods, right? We went over the truck stops, cold calling, right? You cold call people, you've never spoken to them in your life, a day in your life, and you have between 15 to 30 seconds, maybe a minute, 45 seconds, maybe 45 seconds to a minute, to convince them that you're their dispatcher, right? So what you say in that conversation to continue interest in the conversation is important, right? So that's another method of getting carriers. And then you have text campaigns, email campaigns, social media. You can go after carriers on social media, LinkedIn, right? Some carriers have an Instagram account, but LinkedIn is a professional social media account that you can use to connect with owner-operator groups, Facebook groups, owner-operator groups. You can connect with them, and then you can put your information on the group and then leverage that also. Okay, so those are the methods. Now, remember, I said I was going to cover dispatcher packet, right? So that's the final thing we can cover because I needed to explain that to you guys too. So let's say you got a carrier that says, hey, I just got my authority about 6 months ago. I am having trouble finding loads because no one takes me on because I'm a new carrier. My authority is only 6 months old. Can you help me? I have a 53-foot dry van. Can you help me? You say, yeah, let me send you my packet, dispatcher packet. The dispatcher packet contains the 3 documents, right? First document, dispatcher agreement. Let me log out of this load board real quick. Dispatcher agreement, right? This is the first of the 3 documents in the dispatcher packet. It is the contract, if you will, between you and that carrier, that owner, operator, that truck driver. It says that, hey, this is what I do. I'm a dispatcher. I provide this service for this fee. If you agree to this, sign here, essentially. But the verbiage is here, of course. We have templates in PDF and Word format, particularly Word format, where you can edit and change our template to your company format, right? I just give you a guide to do that with. Your logo, I just put mine here, but if you have a logo for your company, if you don't have a logo, do not allow that to preclude you from or stop you from proceeding, right? Logos is just for show and branding purposes, right? And then the verbiage is in here, as far as what you offer, what you do, right? The point of the dispatch agreement is, what are you charging? What's either your percentage or your flat fee per week that you charge? Our recommended numbers, if you are going the percentage route, is 5 to 10% per load that you book. Each load you book, 5 to 10% per load. On average, 7. If you are new, 7 is a good middle point. It says you're not green and it says you're not an expert, but that's a fair starting number. Okay. And flat fee per week says between $250 to $500 per week, irregardless of how many loads you book. Right. So you have to decide which pay structure or format of charging a fee you want to go under. 7% is safe. Okay. And then the carrier, the person you're dispatching for, is filling this out. Okay. At the bottom of this, there's a note. So when the carrier is filling this out, if I'm the carrier, you guys sent this to me. It says here, when returning this dispatcher packet, which contains the dispatcher agreement, the carrier profile, which we're going to talk about next, and the limited power of attorney, which we're going to talk about next, please include copies of your MC authority certificate, your certificate of insurance, and your W-9. And if you're working with a factoring company, please include, a copy of the factoring company's credit application so that we can run a credit check with the brokers to do an NOA, notice of assignment. So why is this important? Why is this note paragraph important? Every broker, as a dispatching company that you're going to be booking loads for your carrier, your truck driver, your owner operator, every broker, when they are onboarding them and getting them approved for their brokerage, asks for copies of an MC authority letter because they want to see that that carrier is authorized to transport freight. They're asking for a copy of the certificate of insurance because they want to make sure that the carrier has enough insurance coverage to cover what they are transporting. You follow? And then they're also asking for a W-9 because they want to make sure that they have a business, a legitimate company with an EIN attached to their company, that they are a legitimate business. So when a broker vets a carrier, those are the main things they get, right? And then the added one is the credit app. If your carrier is working with a factoring company, the factoring company sends either through you or directly to the carrier, a credit application. The credit application is to run a credit check on the broker to make sure that there are no red flags, that they pay on time, any of those other things. If the credit application from the factory company to that carrier comes back favorable for the carrier, then the factory company will send what's called a notice of assignment to the carrier saying, hey, all invoices that were payable to the carrier that you owe is now payable to us because now we have stepped in. The carrier now is our client, factoring company, right? And you should pay us now, Mr. Broker, because we've already advanced the carrier a certain percentage of that load amount. And then we'll go after you for the rest. That's how factoring companies work. They're like those check cashing payday loan places where you go borrow money against your paycheck 2 weeks later, and then you get your money, get your paycheck, pay them back plus 1,000% interest. So it's kind of like that, right? But it's not as high interest. So, so that's the dispatcher agreement, okay? The second document is the carrier's profile. The carrier's profile is just the carrier, the truck driver, telling you what they require of you as a dispatcher when you're looking for loads for them. I want $3 a mile. I don't want to haul no more than 40,000 pounds. I want to stay in the Southeast and the Midwest, maybe the Southwest. Don't send me to the mountains. Don't send me to New York because of the tolls. They're just giving you their requirements. So now you have that. You can cater your load search accordingly, right? According to the profile. You're getting them exactly what they want, for how much they want, going to where they want, paying them what they want. What carrier will not be satisfied with that type of service? If I can get as a truck driver, if I can get everything from my dispatcher that I asked for in my profile, I would be more than willing to work with my dispatcher because they're giving me exactly what I asked for in the profile. So you create a profile and you structure it in such a way that the carrier is telling you literally what they want from you. And you are literally finding loads for them that meets those requirements, okay? Can we, as a dispatcher, request that we be part of the first paid for carriers who do have a factory? So with some factory companies offer, Alexis, the ability to pay dispatchers at the same time that they pay carriers. They offer that service, especially those factory companies that the dispatching company has kind of like an affiliate relationship with. What I mean by that is if you have an affiliate relationship with a factory company where you bring them carriers and those carriers get approved for that factory company, they'll give you a kickback for that. They'll give you like $200 or $300 for that, for bringing them. In addition to that, whenever your carrier that you just got approved for that factoring company turn in invoices to be paid, the factoring company is going to pay you, the dispatcher, as well as the carrier that's owed to them, right? How does that work? When you bring a carrier, well, first of all, you have to get set up with an affiliate partnership or relationship with a factoring company. Go to the factoring company's website, check out their link that says partners or affiliates, fill that out, get approved by them, right? And then bring carriers to that factoring company that meets the approval requirements of the factoring companies. Then you start that conversation with them there. Yes, Alexis.
Yeah, so what I'm asking is like, and you did answer it, but I wanted to know, so if we do have a carrier and they do use a factoring company, can that be in our agreement that if they have a factoring company that they have to notify the factoring company for every load that we have to be part, like a bill that has to be paid off top?
They can do that, and you can put that in your agreement. The only issue with that is will the factory company be willing to comply? Because the factory company don't have to do that. Because the factory company says, well, technically you're our client. Just because you have a dispatcher doesn't necessarily mean we have to pay you at the same time. But if you are in that other situation where you are in a affiliate type of relationship with a factoring company, and then you bring carriers to them that get approved for their factoring, they will offer that service. Like, for example, Seven Oaks. We have our factoring company partner, Seven Oaks, with Monica. She offers the ability to pay dispatchers at the same time that they pay the carriers, because the dispatchers brought those carriers to Seven Oaks, right? So as a show of appreciation, you get a kickback for that, whatever that is, $100, $200. And then in addition, when that carrier turns in invoices to be paid by the factoring company, because Seven Oaks had a conversation with you, the dispatcher, they're going to say, okay, what do you charge as a percentage, Mr. Dispatcher, to this carrier who's our client now? Well, we charge 7%. Okay, so your carrier just turned in an invoice for $4,500, right? Or $4,000. Let's make it numbers easy. They turned in an invoice for $4,000. You charge 7%. So we're going to give you, when we pay the carrier, we're going to give you your 7% of that $4,000, which is $280. And then we're going to give the carrier the rest, which whatever that is, the difference is, right? And that's how that works.
Okay, so does Seven Oaks offer the authority where they would like get, do the authority work to get companies in compliance and get them an MC number and all of that?
No, that's not what factoring companies do.
I know, but some of those companies that do all of the BOC3 and all of that, they also offer factoring. Some of them do.
Right.
So I was just wondering.
Yeah, Seven Oaks is not one of those.
Okay.
Companies. Yeah, it's like a third-party company that offers all those in-house services. Yeah, Seven Oaks does not. There are companies out there, but Seven Oaks is not one of them that do. But you can add, if you learn how to do that yourself, you can add it as a service to your dispatching company, helping your carriers get, because you said BOC3 and all these other things. So you're trying to get individuals to become carriers, right? You said BOC3 and all these other things. So in addition to dispatching, you're helping people start their trucking companies.
Right.
Or that's what you are wanting to do, right?
Right, a full service.
Okay, yeah. So you might want to get, well, Donna's probably the expert at that. She, right. But, or others, I mean, I have some experience with that, but it's been a while. Things have changed, but yeah, it's not a hard process. It's more tedious than anything, but yeah. So you just got to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's very thoroughly. So,
okay, thank you.
Okay. So that's the second document in the dispatcher packet, the carrier profile. The third document, which I don't know why, but it scares people, is the limited power of attorney. Limited, right? Where the carrier is giving you, the dispatcher, limited power in matters of onboarding them and getting them approved with brokers to book loads with those brokers, and or filling out the broker carrier agreement, which is the process of getting set up with brokerages, and then filling out and turning in the rate confirmations, which officially books that particular load for that carrier with that broker. Those are the two main instances where a carrier will give up authority or limited power to their dispatcher in order to represent them. The person who is giving someone else permission to represent them is the person who needs to have the limited power of attorney documentation notarized. Who is that person? The carrier, obviously, the truck driver. The truck driver is giving you, the dispatcher, authorization to fill out. Filling out means signing and printing their names on the broker carrier agreement and signing and printing their names on the rate confirmations. So by doing that, they're saying, okay, well, I'm giving you the authority to do that. So the carrier is the principal and the dispatcher. So someone just used a term there, Donna. The attorney, in fact, which is on here, that's the dispatcher in this case, the person who's representing the principal. The principal is the carrier in this case. This is just a legal term when you're using the verbiage on the limited power of attorney. This is not a power of attorney. This is a limited power of attorney. There is a difference. If you took the word, this one word can change the whole dynamic of the relationship between that carrier and you. If the carrier gave you power of attorney over them, then you You got the house, the kids, the dog, the bank accounts, and everything, right? Because they give up everything for whatever reason, whether they were incapacitated mentally, physically, or whatever, right? This is a limited power of attorney where they're giving you limited power in these two, and additional, the third one is optional, right? The first two is what the carrier is really giving you limited power of attorney to do. Completing any and all broker carrier agreements for any and all brokerages that the carrier is onboarding with. So any brokerages that you're getting them set up to move loads for, they are giving you limited power of attorney to represent them, right? In other words, signing and printing their names when you're filling out those documents. And then secondly, complete any and all confirmations, rate confirmation. So number one, the broker carrier agreements just gets the carrier set up and approved as an approved carrier for the broker. It doesn't officially book a specific load yet. The rate confirmation does that, number two. Because until you, the dispatcher or the carrier, signs and turns in that rate confirmation, there's no load that is booked. The only purpose of the broker carrier agreement, now I repeat that, is to get a carrier set up and approved with a specific brokerage, right? It is not until you sign a rate confirmation for a particular load that you're trying to book with that broker when that load is booked. Okay, just want to make sure does everyone understand what I'm saying there? Okay. So it's a two-step process in booking a load between you, the dispatching company, and your carrier, and a broker or direct shipper. Especially if your carrier's MC is not already approved with that brokerage. If a carrier's MC is not approved, their MC number or their authority number is not already set up in the system of that broker, then you have to go through the process of onboarding them, filling out that broker carrier agreement, because you can't sign a rate confirmation for a load until that MC is already associated with that brokerage. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. Okay. What if they don't want to sign the limited power of attorney? Should I not do business with them? Well, I would say not do business with them like as a last resort, but if you decide to continue to work with them, Keisha, and you go to a broker to book a load for them and they're not set up, the broker's going to send you the broker carrier agreement. You just send it to them and say, hey, since we didn't do a limited power of attorney, you have to fill this out because I can't, because it's forgery at that point. You didn't authorize me to represent you via the limited power of attorney. So I cannot legally sign your name and print your name because I can't represent you legally without you giving me authorization to do so, which is the limited power of attorney. So that carrier is going to say at some point, well, I can't keep having you send me the broker carrier agreement to get me set up and the rate confirmation to sign. Then what's the point of you being my dispatcher? Exactly. What is the point? So can you please sign or do the broker limited power of attorney so this process can be smooth, right? And it'll be streamlined and there'll be less delay. Because if the carrier has to take the time to get a broker carrier agreement filled out, thanks, Adon, I'm glad you said that, I'm gonna say in the chat. If a carrier has the time or has to take the time to fill out a broker carrier agreement and sign a rate confirmation, how long do you think that broker's gonna wait for that? That broker's gonna take that load off of being on hold by this carrier and put it back on the load board, and someone else is gonna snatch it up and it's gonna get covered. Or they can have the dispatcher do it quicker by simply having this limited power of attorney form notarized and sent back in the dispatcher packet so that we can work together effectively and efficiently. Let's do this effectively and efficiently so it'll be, you focus on driving. Let me do the administrative stuff. That's why you decided for me to be your dispatcher. Let me do my job and you do your job and we work together as a team, and this will be a smooth transition, a smooth relationship, right? And we'll keep it long-term. As long as we meet our requirements on both sides, everything will be smooth. So, okay. All right, guys, that's it for today. Hopefully was this helpful? Want to make sure.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it was helpful.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Definitely was helpful.
Yes, very.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully the newer members, if you joined recently within a week or two and you haven't done your email and password approval for back office access, do so, please. So you can have access. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, also subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing some changes on the website a little bit as far as making it more user-friendly so you can get to places better. But what do we do about the issues using the load board? So the issues using the load board. So the load boards that I recommend you, the ones that give you the issues as far as the one you, so Trucking Planet is used for finding carriers, right? Truckloads is, I'm dealing with them, but direct freight services, you can use that. Everybody can use that. Next load is fine. Free freight search is fine. That power, it's a good load board, but it's a one user license. That's a subscription I had to pay for. I couldn't pay for a multiple user license because they wanted me to charge everybody that was going to log in. And I said, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. So work with direct freight service. And I'm going to check on that. And then Trucking Planet is just to find carriers. And I'll show you what I mean there. So if you log into Trucking Planet, and I don't think I have my login here. Okay. If you go to carriers, and you can go to carriers to cold call. So the three major ones are already at the top, right? Drive-in, carriers, flatbed, and then reefers, right? So hit drive-in, right? And you notice, you see this here, but right here where it says to view current listings, click here. This is a link. You click that. Now here's all the carriers that you're going to see under the drive-in truckload carriers category. And there's 588 of them across 3 pages. Okay. Same thing for flatbeds. Click here. And you're going to get all the flatbed carriers across 2 pages, 314 flatbed carriers. And you can cross-reference them. You can even do text campaigns and emails. You can take their, I'm talking to Trucking Planet to see if they have an exporting feature where you can export phone numbers or export emails into a third-party software where you can do email and text blasts. So you can send out one message to multiple phone numbers or multiple emails. So you can cover more space in less time. Okay. So that's to be determined right now. It's not here yet, but we can export stuff, right? And then with the reefer truckloads, same thing. To view current listings, click here. And you got across 2 pages, 308 companies, okay, reefers. And it shows you how many units they have, like 3, their MCDOT, the name of the contact person, their name, phone number, email, where they load out of, Memphis, Tennessee, Greenwood, Mississippi, and where they go to, right? So that's how you use, that's the best use case for Trucking Planet is to search for carrier. It does have a load board feature, but it's kind of dated. Okay, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of dated. So when you go to load, right here, load boards, right? Freight, view freight. And you go in there and then you say, okay, equipment required. So you say van from, let's say, Alabama. And then you just hit search, right? And it gives you, you got 18 loads, right? It's kind of like real generic, right? I mean, you do have it here, right? But you just, it's not as advanced as the other load boards. That's all I'm saying. You can use it, but it's, you got right here, Hot Shot, right? And we got Texas. Let's see what we get. Okay, there we go. We got some hot shots in Texas. Look at that. It's more than what we saw in the other ones, right? But these are old September 7th, that's 2 days ago, or 4 days ago. And these loads are, okay, open loads available now, daily hotshot loads. The contact person is Hope, equipment required, a truckload of hotshots from Texas, Houston, Texas, but it's going to California. So you want to stay in Texas, right? So this is Rosharon, Texas to Amarillo, Texas, LTL or hotshot freight, hotshot ships for you. So you may want to call the company and start that conversation. Hey, I got a hotshot person over in Midland. On their off days, they want to run hotshots coming out of that area and be back to that area by the new week because they're doing this. So, right. But yeah, so you got hotshots here. So you can look up other equipment types. You got box truck. You know, somebody may have a box truck wherever they may have it at. Let's say Ohio somewhere, and you go boom, you hit Ohio. Hey, there's no box truck loads in Ohio apparently. So, but there is actually, but it's just North Carolina. There's one in North Carolina, and you can select the equipment types, different equipment types, oversized autos, RGNs, double drops, things like that. The power only units, and you select the state, Georgia, power only. Of course, power only in Georgia is going to be good because there's major ports down in Georgia, like for example, Savannah. So it doesn't show the rates. That's another feature that I don't like about it. So, but that's a good in a way because it gives you the ability to get some experience when you call these people. So now you're going to start to learn the lingo and understand what they're trying to do and ask. And if you get caught up and into some confusion, you just simply text me or email me and I'll go ahead and clear that up with them. So it doesn't give the miles, but it gives the from city and state and the to city and state. So what can you do? Remember your best friend called Google? You can go on Google. You know, you got a best friend. That friend will never leave you or forsake you, like Jesus, right? Google. So you look them up, do the search, Google Maps. You can do the satellite version of Google Maps. Or we got another one called Truck Router. Remember Truck Router in our resources? So in our tools and resources, we got, let's go to tools and resources. We got Truck Router. Right here. You go on the Truck Router and you can look up the routes, the trucking routes of the lane, right? The particular lane. So, and let's see if I remember. Oh, I got so many passwords, crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, I didn't want to have to do this. Let me stop the share 1 second. I'm gonna stop the share so you guys won't see me look at the password because I want to put this on the, okay, there it is. All right. And then I'll bring the share back. Thank God for technology, right? So let's go to Truck Router and put that in there. Okay, so now we're in Truck Router and we say that. So this is Truck Router. This is in our portal. So, you know, we got resources in here we may not even remember, right? But this is a good Truck Router resource, right? Tractor trailer, 5 axles. You want to make sure your axles, the height, put all the information in here. They're using diesel, 45-pound weight. And then you can put some routing preferences. You want to avoid toll roads, you can check that. Avoid any ferries, avoid any tunnels, any dirt roads. You can drill down and specify certain things. You want the fastest type of route, soft restrictions, and then you put in a to and from destination with any stops. Like for example, let's say Norfolk, Virginia, right, to Charlotte, or let's say Savannah, Georgia, right? Savannah, Georgia. No extra stops, right? No stops in between, and we just run the trip, okay? And bam, so now here we go, all this data and stats, fuel costs and things like that, and the route itself, right? What to take, okay? And you can look up other things too, the trip settings, any truck stops along the way. What are the truck stops along the way? Here we go right now. So along the way out of Norfolk, Virginia, and the truck stops and the mile markers where they're located and the exits, right? So any tolls, you see, from Norfolk all the way down through South Carolina, all the way down, all the truck stops, directions, look at the directions. So you can assist your carriers, right? Any tolls and warnings, there's only 2 of them. Private roads, you want to be careful, and those are only in Georgia, right? Trip settings, any state mileage. So there's so much data, we can reset this trip. Let's reset it and start over again, bam, and then we'll take it back to the beginning, right? Resources. You can use these resources to add extra services to your dispatching company. Another resource you can use to add extra services to your dispatching company is the National Truck and Trailer Service, right? Let's go back up right here, NTTS. Let's say you got a driver, let's keep with, where are we at? Texas, right? I'm messing with Tawana right now, Texas, right?
Let's do it.
And let's say your driver said, hey, I had a blowout or a flat tire, right? Okay, well, where are you at? Well, I'm in Texas. I'm in Midland. Right? Okay, so we put Texas as a state. Let's X out it again. We put Texas as a state, put the city. We can either scroll down to it or type it in there, Midland, right? There it is. So you select Midland, bam. Okay, so what they need is, say they had a blowout, right? So these are the services that we offer in here. So they have, okay, so tire sales and repair. That sounds about right. You had a blowout, right?
And maybe a tow?
Or maybe a tow. So you check the robot and boom, it's popping up all within the area, all of the truck service repair services near where you had that accident, right? The closest one is at the top. So literally in Midland with the phone number is National Truck and Trailer Repair, 24-hour service, mobile unit. So they come out to you, right? And you can do other services too. Fuel, truck stops, truck wash, rest stops, right? We can select a rest stop instead of a tire repair. We can select truck stops with repair. So we can, or tow, towing and recovery. Like Tawana just said, towing and recovery, we just search. And now we got the towing in Midland, which is 3.7 miles, 4.6 miles. And then the furthest one away after that is 24 miles, which is Odessa, which is northwest of Midland. So you can leverage the resources back here to add services to your dispatching company. Now, if you do that, of course, you're going to charge for that, right? Extra service, because this is your time, right? So any added services outside of you dispatching, you should be compensated for that because that requires your more time. That's just common to me. So, okay. Just wanted to share that with you guys, and that's in the portal in the back office, so you guys can utilize the services. So, run through this stuff, right? And utilize it to the advantage. Provide customer support to your carriers, and show them that you are for their best interest. Okay. All right, guys, I'll have this recording in the back office here under, let's go back there too for the new students to see, under the members portal main menu, under training videos library. Now under that where it says new, we do have a how-to series, right? How-to videos, how to do this, how to do that. Under module 1, how to find the FMCSA register, trucking planner, right? Under module 2, how to certain load boards, module 3, how to book those loads. So I've created specific videos for specific topics. So once you figure out how to go to certain locations, you're gonna say, okay, yeah, everything is pretty much here, right? I just gotta, put it all together, okay? And then under the training videos library is where I was gonna go next before we get off here, training videos library. No, Marcon, to answer your question, no, your private question. But under training videos library, we're in the month of September, right? So if you can either scroll down to it or just click the anchor button for that particular month. Since this is the first training video for the month of September, because we do the 2nd and 4th week, this is the start of the 2nd week of this month. I'm gonna click that, it's going to scroll down to that month, okay? And the most recent video is going to be first. Well, since we haven't done a video yet, it's still 2021, but the September 11th, 2022 was going to be first once we get this video formatted and uploaded, okay? But you can see other videos in here. You can scroll through that particular month and the numerical date, right? So, okay, and that goes for every month. So there's over 200 videos back here that you can go through to get that. We go back to the top, all right? My job is to provide content and add value for you guys. And your job is to become millionaires so I can borrow money from you. So, but
Let's do it. If you can get me there.
Absolutely.
I'll give it to you.
Speak it into existence.
that's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a freight broker, buddy of my, a student actually, Donald. He's on the freight broker side. We are having that conversation, working on and Donald, you know Donald, of companies that have been calling him, and he's working with him and David Isaacson, the other broker, on a $50 to $100 million contract, bidding contract. So he wants me to help him with that. So here you go. But it's coming. So Donald is doing big things. So, and he was brokering not even 2 years. What is it, 18 months LaDonna's been? And he knew nothing about freight brokering. Nothing. He didn't know what a freight broker was, but he stayed on the phone. And he's doing well. He has over 20 shippers, over 100 trucks as far as under his brokerage, as far as when he needs to find capacity to move freight, he has trucks for that, right? So, and he's expanding. So he was very green. He was like Incredible Hulk green. That's how green he was. So, yes, we offer ebooks. So, KK, I'm not sure if are you a student? I believe you're a student, KK. So if you are a student, okay, so if you're not a student, then our ebooks are under ELLC services on the website, ebook purchases. You can purchase the ebooks here, okay? The ebooks and all the other different price points for that. If you are obviously a student, then the ebooks are included in the subscription or in the enrollment under orientation/ebooks, where you simply go and download the ebooks from the orientation. They come with, if you purchase the materials only, then yes, they do come with the ebooks come with the materials training, right here. So the Dispatcher 101 materials kit includes, and it includes all of this. It includes a copy of the dispatcher agreement template in Word and PDF, carrier profile in Word and PDF, limited power of attorney in Word and PDF, a carrier call script, copies of the MC authority letter, certificate of insurance, W-9, and notice of assignment, because you need to know what they look like, right? When you see them. because you're not going through our training, at least you get to identify what they are, so you won't get anything confused, right? And then we have some materials. What's the workflow of dispatching, the role of a dispatcher? You need to see a copy of a broker carrier agreement, because you need to know what that looks like. These are for people who are going to just buy the training materials kit only. You're not enrolling in the ongoing training, but you say, I don't need the ongoing training. I just want to get the materials kit. I know a little bit about dispatching. I just need a kickstart. That's what this is for, right? The low details cheat sheet, everything I'm listing here, the ongoing students have this in the back office at their own pace and own leisure. You got all of this, right? Plus the Zoom trainings, low board access, all the other stuff. But a person who just purchases this is what you get. 3 free ebooks, a glossary, and a map of the US, a copy of the rate confirmation so you know what that looks like. So you get, that's a good head start for that price point, in my opinion, okay? So, all right, guys, thank you for your time. I kind of stayed a little bit further, and I apologize if I held you guys up. My apologies.
Mr. Charles.
Yes, ma'am. Who's that? Tawana.
It's Tawana.
Yes.
So I know that I know you explained some of it one time, but can you just tell me again what's going on with the DAT load board?
The DAT load, nothing's really going on with it. It is the type of subscription I have that I'm sharing my logins with you guys with is a one user license. What that means is only one person can be logged in at a time, no matter where they are. Right. So if I'm already logged in and you log in, it's going to kick me out, basically. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Our next class for members will be, let's go to the Zoom training schedule. Wednesday, September the 14th. And what time on Wednesdays? 6 p.m. Sundays, which is today, we had 11. We kind of went over a little bit, but that's fine. I'd rather go over than under, right? Yeah, so Wednesday, 6 p.m., which is, so let's go through the time zone concept, right? Wednesday, 6 p.m. will be 5 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So from east to west, it goes back by 1 hour, right? So, and then from west to east, it increases by 1 hour. So, all right. All right, guys. See you guys on Wednesday. I'll have this in the back office and on YouTube. I want to put this one out on YouTube because I had some questions I had to answer. So.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy.